Hey everybody, that was an abrupt drop in the music. I'm testing this out. I'm actually using OBS back to my beginning roots here. I am using the latest, so I'm seeing the chat here. I can't bring y'all up, I don't believe. This is the first time I've been messing around with OBS in the integration and stuff like that. Drop in the music, and I don't know if y'all heard an echo of that. Testing this out, and you are. Hold on, let me turn that off. All right, I had to turn my mix minus back on so that y'all don't hear anything. All right, good. So y'all not hearing that anymore. Hey, everybody. Let's see. I'm gonna go through and try and do some comments that I normally get, but thank y'all for joining me so much. I have a different layout. I got my camera mounted on the wall here, and it's a lot lower. And I moved my boom arm out the way because if my monitor blocks everything, so I got this to the side. So the ever evolving change of everything. So. Kenny, hello. Adam, hello. Willie, hello. Larry, hello. Mike, what's up? Louis, Antonio, Steve, Ashley, Advent Flame, hello. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I just want to kind of answer some questions that I normally get on my comments because, contrary to popular belief, YouTube does not always notify me when I get new comments and stuff like that. So hopefully y'all can get a good laugh or learn something from me just answering some people's questions that they've left me on comments here. I'm trying to do a screen capture, so we'll test how this is. All right. So I had my first comment here from Michelle Johnson was saying, hi, thank you so much for your video. My church is thinking of purchasing the A10 Mini Extreme so we can add more cameras to our production. Looking forward to seeing part 2. Could you also show the setup of the monitor and the Extreme? I don't know what kind of TV is needed so we could monitor 5 camera angles. Thank you. Well, Michelle, that's really simple. The A10, as long as you get a monitor or a Joshua, hello. No matter if you have like a regular computer monitor or a TV, either one will work. And let me turn this camera on. I just realized I was trying to turn my studio camera on so I can show you my setup, but I don't have it plugged in because I am installing Windows 11 on a computer for somebody. But anyway, back to my original question. See, this is live, folks. I didn't have this all scripted out. But for your A10, as long as the monitor, the computer monitor, television, whatever that you have hooked up to it supports 1080p that you have it set to on the A10 in the settings, you're good. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I started out with a monitor, then I moved to a television, then I moved back to like a small little monitor like I have right in front of me that y'all can't see. But I use that so that way I'm looking, well, now if I look at it, you see my eyes are not looking at the lens, but I have that here. And now I'm at a 32-inch screen TV that I have hanging right here on the wall in front of me so I can see everything. So it's not a particular brand as long as it supports it. That's all. So I'm doing a window capture on here. So this isn't nothing fancy. I just cropped. I have a browser open on this monitor here that I just pulled over here. That's what I'm looking at. And all I did is I'm capturing the screen in OBS and I'm just having it chopped down to a certain comment. So we'll see how long that lasts. But Lester wants to know, do you have a new video on the A10 Mini Extreme setup and use it? No, I do not. I'm actually getting ready to make one. I need to make one for a training video. So it's going to be super, super basic in general. Because honestly, what I'm thinking about doing is making a whole bunch of videos mainly as training guides for the ministries that I install, so that way they can revisit this stuff. That's probably going to be a series that if any of y'all are took my class or signed up for my course on church live streaming 101. I have not touched that in about a year and a half, and a lot of stuff has changed. So these videos I'm going to add to that, but I'm also going to do them here on YouTube. So for that, it's going to be, I'm probably going to add some more stuff onto the course. I haven't touched it. It's a bunch of things that have gone on, and I'm so thankful for that. So we're going to be working on some other stuff as well, too. So let's go to our next comment. So, Michelle, hopefully that helps you out. So let me make sure I scroll to the next one. There we go. All right. Jimmy Tran was saying, I appreciate all your videos, AJ. One suggestion, if I may, is that the music needs its volume brought down a lot relative to your voice. On headphones, it isn't as noticeable, but watching your videos on a TV makes your voice almost a whisper while the music is blasting. Blessings to you and your ministry. Yeah, Jimmy, I appreciate the comment, and this is something that I constantly am working on. I normally do, and I did a video on this. I do my videos in DaVinci Resolve, and there's a thing called cross-chaining, where you can, when you set one channel to be the main, which is my voice, and then I have another track, which is background music, where that audio will look at my main and adjust to a certain level so that when I start talking, it drops to a certain level. And it's unique because when I'm sitting here in front of my desk, normally that's kind of straightforward, and it all depends on the song, but I appreciate it. I am working on it. And the other thing I will say to anybody who does say that, I can't go back and adjust the levels on videos. So just letting y'all know about that. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. I just can't do nothing about it. Parker, hey, thanks for joining. A. Watson, hello. Thank you for joining. Lester was saying, wants me to go back over the A10 Mini Extreme because of green screen. Okay, I will do that. Mr. Clarence, you know what? I'm glad you said that, sir. I've been running around so much. And if you are a e-missionary level on my Patreon, and actually I'm still sharing the screen, which I didn't mean to. If you're a e-missionary level, that's $30 a month. I give a discounted free 1 hour consultation with you, which normally my consultations from a video Zoom is $100. If it's a phone call, it's $75, and then if it's an on-site, it's $150. So at a $30 level from Patreon, I set up a consultation with you for 1 hour for free for those levels. So, Mr. Clarence, we are getting ready. I think I forgot to post the codes for this month for November. My apologies, but tomorrow is December, and I will post that and post that everywhere on Patreon for those levels. So thank you, and I apologize if I did not put that up there. PQP Showtime 1, hello. What about the 4K PTZ inputs for streaming? Getting true 4K out, and what 4K switcher and recorder you like? I'm going to jump to this other question, but real quick, if you want to get 4K in, true 4K in, you're going to have to look at, again, I only stick with the Blackmagic ones because that's the ones that I have used personally. I don't really speak on anything else that I have not used. But from a switcher standpoint, if you're looking for a pure 4K, let's switch over here real quick. You are kind of limited on the Television Studio Pro 4K and up. Those are the only ones that actually support true 4K in, and but they don't have any type of streaming built in. So you would need to pair that with something like the Web Presenter 4K, which will stream it in 4K. So that is, to my knowledge, the only thing that you can use right now for that. But to be quite honest, even though I stream occasionally in 4K, and that's mainly just to test out the Web Presenter, I don't really think it's really ideal. That's just me. I don't think we're ready for that because I know people's internet still ain't there yet, but we'll see. Let me jump and answer a couple of these, but again, I'm gonna jump over to these comments as well too. Shooter 2012, good work, bro. Parker from Jamaica. Hey, well, thank you for joining me. Osaga, hello. Gigi Fusion Media, thanks AJ for your tips. Joining from Nigeria, awesome. Just I would like to know what. And again, I'm sorry. I normally would bring up comments if this was a Q&A, but I'm not doing this through. Can I jump over here and do? You know what? Let me see if I can bring up the comments here. I had a feeling it was going to go in this direction. Not trying to be negative about it, but I was going to do this for answering comments because I got a lot of comments on YouTube, but I don't get a chance to really answer them all. So let me see. How can I do this? Let me link vMix Social to this chat. I'm going to bring up the comments, and then I'm going to send those over to vMix. I need to pick a title, and let's pick the one we normally do that y'all can see y'all's comments and everything like that. Which one, AJ? I think it's this one. I think that's the one I normally use. All right, so we're going to pick this. I got your comments here. I need to bring up. See, I told y'all this is beyond live. All right, so I got this. If I output this over NDI, let me bring up NDI here. Let me find a source. Should be vMix output, and yes, it is. And okay, there's that, but we need to get rid of that background. So let me put a filter on here. Let me color key this out. Pick a color. I want to pick from the screen. And there you go. So now we got, this is coming from vMix. All right. So now let me see if I can bring y'all's comments up this way. Where did I leave off at? Joshua, let's see where he's at. Yeah, there we go. So let's see. Can we bring this up now? Yeah, there we go. And again, this is vMix Social being sent over NDI to OBS. Well, that's funny. All right, what would you recommend to use if we're using Boxcast and a Canon camcorder for live streaming? We want to start doing graphics and lyrics. Well, from a Boxcast, now that I can bring up your comments, let me know what's the connections that you have into your Boxcast. How do you connect your video? And did I not set my phone on mute? I must not have. Let me turn off Bluetooth, put it on silent. Let me know, Joshua, what connections are on the Boxcast, if I can spit it out, so I can let you know what that would be. And I need some way to hide these comments. Yeah, I guess we're turning this into an impromptu Q&A. Question here was saying, is NDI easier to operate than OBS? NDI is not its own thing like OBS. OBS and vMix are softwares to do live streaming and type of integration and bringing different inputs, cameras, audio, and stuff like that. NDI is just a protocol to where you can send video and audio over your network. So those are not exactly the same. OBS can use NDI, but NDI can't use OBS, if you understand what I mean. Luis here, and I really need to set this up a different way so I can see my comments here. Okay, they're in front of me. Output. There we go. But it's super tiny. Yeah. I just wanted to thank you for your tutorials. I have learned a lot from you, and you've helped out our live stream ministry. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to be of assistance. Surrender to Jesus would like to know. I would like to know which equipment to use for picture-in-picture in diagonal form. Well, I mean, if you have an ATEM like what I'm using right now, I can do a picture-in-picture just by the press of a button here. But then I can make unique shapes and forms of the picture-in-picture. But any software like OBS or vMix can do it as well too. You just need to have multiple inputs to do it. What is your current setup that you have? Elise, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Good evening, AJ, and to all. I am new to streaming for my church. Thank you for all your videos. They were great help. Hey, you're welcome. Don't make me blush now, people. My church is looking to purchase a laptop or live streaming. We have the ATEM Mini Pro. Do you have any suggestions? Yes, I would say the Asus TUF laptop or the Acer gaming laptop. That is currently what I use. I'm actually need to set up this because I'm supposed to be live streaming a basketball game this week. And this is one I was talking with Keith. I gave him a suggestion for this same laptop, and he is loving it. Let me see. I will post a link here in the description once I get it. And call me a AMD fanboy, but at this point, I am not messing with anything other than AMD systems right now, just because they give the most bang for your buck. Octa-core, where is it at? Asus TUF Ryzen 5. And these things actually used to be like $700, but they've gone up because so many people have been using them. Here is one. I think if you use these specs in here and find something on Amazon, you will find something relatively comparative priced. And I think that would help. And I think I didn't share this out. Hey, folks, if y'all don't mind, because I'm getting ready to do it myself too, please hit that like button, hit the share button, and hopefully you have the subscribe button hit and the bell on, so that way you get notified when we come out with other videos like this, folks. So I would really appreciate it. I need to do a breakdown and show y'all just how much that really impacts not just my channel, but your ministry. So if you're not asking your congregation and people who are watching your live stream to like, subscribe, and share, you are robbing yourself of putting your video in front of more eyes. That's the reason why people are doing it. Monty, thank you so much, man, for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Y'all need to check out Monty. He did a live stream yesterday that I was able to jump in on, dropping some heat and some knowledge with, I think it was his pastor or a pastor that he knows. It's humbling right now that a lot of people who are in this space, all of us are kind of, we don't have backdoor meetings, but a lot of people are saying the exact same stuff. Like there's a guy that runs Black Bar. He had an excellent video that dropped yesterday, I believe, talking about the 3 big reasons why churches are not growing. And I don't know him. I don't think he knows me, but I'm going to give him a big shout out because he was dropping some good wisdom on that video. And let me bring him up here. Let me make sure I can find him. And I'm so used to my vMix. So if we come over here, this is the guy here, and this is the video. 3 big reasons your church isn't growing online. He is dropping some heat, people. Very, 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 very good video. Give him a big shout out. If he asks you where you came from, saying AJ the CEO sent you over there. Black Bar. Go ahead and subscribe to him. Great stuff, folks. We support each other. It ain't about competition. It's about all of us helping each other. So if you haven't, follow Monty as well, too. He drops some excellent tech videos as well as stuff that's all around tech. Not just ministry related, but as well. And here's a shout out to his channel right there as well, too. Monty Weaver in the chat. Really appreciate you there, brother. We're going to have to catch up. He's in Northern Virginia, and I keep driving by there, and we haven't had a chance to catch up. But, yeah, I'm just going fully in, folks. So this isn't I guess it's not a AJ's comments anymore we're going to just do this as an impromptu Q&A. So let me quickly set up a button here for OBS so I can take that source on and off quickly and easily. What collection am I in? Okay, that's Zoom, and I need to turn on and off my NDI source. So that would be vMix. I think that will work. Do I have a button? Yes, I do. So if I hit this, yeah, okay. So now I can quickly bring y'all's comments up and down from here. So I think we're good. So let's see where we left off at. Danilo, hello. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Apple of my eye media. Interesting name. Wants to know custom made cases for the A10 Mini Pro. Do you have a recommendation of a maker? No, personally, I have not. I don't use one. My A10 Mini Extreme stays stationary. I do have another one. Normally, I would just put it in my book bag. I need to get a case. But no, I don't really have one off the top of my head. But once I look into one, I will let you know. Antonio here. 1-2. Is that 1-2 punch? Do you have any suggestions on how to boost my live stream audio? I have a PreSonus Live 32S, and I am sending an aux mix fader is all the way up. My first question, and then the second part says, however, people are still complaining that the volume is low. Tried adding more gain in OBS, but there's really no change in the volume. Well, you said it. The first thing I was going to ask, is the gain on that channel up? That's coming in that you're sending to your aux through that board. And then what is your connection set to for your input? I mean, because you're coming straight from the board directly in. That's really strange. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is, I mean, you can send that audio into another mixer and then boost it again. I mean, but you run the risk of having some distortion. If anybody knows of any suggestions, please let Antonio know. DigiFusion wants to know, can you take us through how you brought in the YouTube comments overlays through vMix? Actually, I have actually done this before. I am using vMix Social. That's bringing in y'all's comments automatically. That goes with vMix. But since I started this live stream through OBS, in vMix, you can output. I don't have my other camera set up. Let me see if I can disconnect this one and show you. All right, this is going to be a very tight shot because I don't think my power cable can fit over here. So let me see. Can I turn it? All right. Let me take that layer off. So here is my vMix setup, and I have this going on. But inside of vMix, you have a external button. I have externally set this up, and this is a very stretch to do. Inside of here, I am outputting to an NDI source, and that's the wrong screen. Where is it at? I hit the wrong one. So in here, I am outputting to NDI. So that is sending my source over the network. All right. So let me put this camera down. So since vMix is capturing my comments and sending that over NDI inside of OBS, and you're going to get a loop of a loop here in a second. So I can show you what this actually looks like. So inside of here, I have an NDI source here at the bottom, which is picking up the comments, which is going out, is capturing vMix. And that's how I brought it in. So let me quickly switch from that because it was a loop of a loop in there. So by me bringing in, outputting NDI, which is only showing the vMix social, that's sending over NDI. NDI is being caught by OBS, and OBS is just showing that as a source. So I can turn that on and off. That's how I was doing that. So hopefully that answered your question. Don the man. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Brian Jones, what's going on? Brian was dropping some hot fire knowledge on our roundtable this past Sunday. I highly recommend if y'all don't. I don't really talk about it that much, but the Facebook group we have, Modern Media Ministry Made Easy, anybody can join. It is a collection of media ministry people all over the world. So you can always ask any question, any hardware you got. We got so many. Who in the world is calling me? See, daggone spam. See, if y'all don't have it, I have Google Voice for my business, and it monitors people, so they have to say who they are. So if nobody says anything, it's automatically a bot, and then my phone hangs it up. So that's what that was. But anyway, what I was saying is that Facebook group is a wealth of knowledge from people all over the world, folks. I had somebody from Ireland reach out to me today that he needs some help from somebody in New Jersey. I just pointed them to the Facebook group, and he was like, I didn't even know this thing existed. I was like, no, it does. So I highly recommend y'all check that out. Surrender to Jesus, back to their original question was, thank you, AJ. We have the ATEM Television Studio HD and the web presenter for our live streaming. Okay. I need to remember what the original question was. Let me see. Okay, yeah, in the television HD, you have a DVE tool. That is the same settings. That's the same engine that drives your picture-in-picture. You need to set that, and then you play around with those settings. And I kind of don't want to do it on mine right now because it's going to affect how my stuff is right now. But if I cut over to the screen here, and it is some juggling to jump through all of these controls right now. So as you can see, here's my ATEM. This is the ATEM in Extreme, but actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me turn on the computer at my church, and that's a ATEM Television Studio HD as well too. Maybe we can do that one because they have choir rehearsal tonight. I'm gonna drop in on them and see what's going on there. So give me a second to bring up everything and log in. All right, here we go. And let's go full screen here. Come on now. I want to go full screen. And yes, for those who want to know, I have migrated the system at church to Windows 10, and it has been running buttery smooth. No issues at all. So in here, there we go. What we would do is we would use our upstream key and go to DVE, and then this is where you got to play around with that. So I'm assuming you're gonna have to do some algebra so you can get that that angle the way that you want. I'm assuming you might want to do a mask or something like that you can do that. But that's how you would do that. So hopefully that helps. And let me turn this off before people start losing their minds when they come in, because they're like, why is everything on upstairs? AJ, are you upstairs? No, I'm not. So let me exit out of here. And I'm gonna try and go back. I'm gonna get some of y'all, but let me go back here and answer some of these other questions that I had left out from here. So we answered that one. Let's see. We talked about this one. Oh man, been preaching this forever. I wish I could get this was based on my succession planning video, where it says, Ed was saying, I wish I could get my church members to have a desire to serve in our media ministry. Our church has an average age of 67 and the tech is not their bag. We're in such a desperate shape that I'm training 14-year-old to direct our webcast. Audio is training a 16-year-old and graphics teaching a 15-year-old. Adults in our church have no desire to serve. And I think, and I have some of the same issues, but what I've been noticing is, like, if anybody knows me, I have no interest in sports. I have no interest in watching basketball, football, nothing like that. I do it to live stream, but actually watching it for entertainment, that's not me. I have no desire for that. Now, just reading and doing some other studying, some other stuff, is our desires innately show us what we have proficiency for and have the energy and the power and the talent to work towards. So, I know we really can't wish somebody to have desire. Like, I wish my daughter loves music, but I can't make her do that. But since she's around me, she's always around music. And I don't know where this is going, but the main thing is, like, when you're trying to find somebody, they will pick themselves. Don't try and push out something on somebody else. So I know it's frustrating when you want to have somebody there to unload and share and be interested in this field. But I promise you, you don't want to get somebody in there that you have to constantly pump up because they're not interested. That will be a drag like ever before. So I totally understand. And the only good thing I can say about this, you are not in the boat alone. It's a bunch of people that feel the same way here in the comments. All right, I'm back to page 1 here. So that was Monty. T wants to know. Oh, maybe I need to bring up the thing here. Is it possible to connect a digital snake to a wall panel to make the cable management more pleasing? I mean, I would say yes, as long as that patch panel is going directly there, and make sure, depending on if it's a digital snake, if it's shielded, you need to make sure you have a shielded patch panel so it makes it through. I mean, because it's just data, so it doesn't matter. I would just make sure don't go from shielded to unshielded. And don't try and hook it up to your network unless it supports it, but it should work. Pastor Daniel, how you doing, sir? Hey, I told you, I'm being up in Chicago. We're going to be catching up with him when I got a break up there as well, too. That's going to be January 3rd through the 9th. We're going to be in Chicago, Illinois. And then January 13th through the 19th, we're going to be in the Tampa, Florida area. Steve here got a question. How far in advance do you get information to display your services, or do you prepare the day of service? I would say neither. I would say I get it 5 minutes before it needs to go live. Rarely do I get stuff ahead of time, unfortunately. That's something I've been working on for a long, long time. JHB, do you think live streaming services affects the in-person attendance? Yes and no. I'm of the mind that if somebody didn't want to come and want to stay at home, whether you were live streaming or the Patriots were on, I don't think it does. But again, this is what I hang my hat on. The live streaming isn't for your attendance anyway. It's not for the people who regularly come to your church, to your ministry anyway. It's meant to reach everybody else. And the byproduct, the side effect, is members from your congregation can watch. That's just me. I don't think it does, but the fact that it gives people the way that they can participate and they don't have to come out, maybe. I guess for me, ultimately, if more people come into the building or stay at home, for me, it doesn't matter, because it's about sending the message in any way, shape, or form. If it's if it's nobody in the sanctuary and it's 100 people online, or if it's nobody online and it's 100 people in the sanctuary, the main goal is was ministry, was the word expressed, and it touched somebody. That's me. Back to Joshua. We're saying that Boxcast has HDMI, internet, and RCA. Well, if you want to do that, you would probably, and I don't want to say this is going to defeat the purpose of a Boxcast, but an A10 Mini Pro, or you get some type of streaming system, a system that can run OBS that has capture cards, or kind of like what I'm doing with NDI, so you can capture the stuff, and then the HDMI, say like you have a computer that has two outputs, and you can get another output on your computer with something simple like this, a USB to HDMI output, and it will show up on OBS, and you can right click as an output, and that output can go over HDMI into the Boxcast, and then you can do all the special effects, scripture, lower thirds, all the stuff I've done in the video. You can do that all in OBS, and then OBS will act as a software switcher that will feed the signal to your Boxcast. I think that would be the easiest thing that you can do. Man, my days of programming are almost over. So unfortunately, unless some other better programmers than me are writing stuff for Mac, man, you need to come over to the Windows side. Come over to the Windows side just for your streaming PC. Use the Mac for everything else, but just for your streaming PC. And as well, hey, you are welcome. I want to thank Chris for sending them to me. There was a link in my previous video. He actually makes those, and it was selling them on eBay for $9. But if you want to get multiple ones, you get a discount. So I'm using that on this one and another one. So really awesome. Back to Lester here. The new meta from Facebook. How is it to you going to affect live streaming ministry? Honestly, I think it's going to be controversial, and I think I shared this with the Facebook group. There was a Christian comedian who had a joke video about digital service. This was like 2 years before COVID, and he was talking about he put on a headset and picked the type of service he wanted to go to, and it was all virtual. I really think it's going to be like that, and some people are going to think it's a gimmick, which it does sound like it, but just imagine the live stream now, but you set up a 360 camera in your church, in the ministry, and then somebody puts on a headset and they can actually see people live right beside them and stuff like that. I think it would be cool. I think it's too cutting edge for most people. So I think it would be a niche thing, just like when live stream started. And then, I don't want to say like a Chernobyl incident or something like that happens to where literally people physically couldn't go somewhere. That would be a way for people to gather even. I don't want to get into that statement, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. I really think it's a little too niche for the majority because people are still trying to grip with live streaming. Carl has a suggestion for Antonio here. Use a limiter on OBS on your input. When set up properly, this can transform your mix from myth to wow. Awesome. Well, thank you there for that, Carl. At least here we're saying still trying to get approval for modern media ministries. Well, if you answer all three questions, it automatically goes through. But let me see. And I didn't even hit the share button on this last video here. Let me go in here personally and see what's going on. Because, it normally just passes you through once you answer all three questions. I'm thinking if you didn't get in, is one of those questions is a missing. So let me see. Let me see if I can find you in here. ELYFE. Yep, that's the reason why you did not answer all the questions. But you know what? Guess what? You just got approved. So you're there now. All righty. So let's see. What is the next thing we got here? Apple or the iMedia wants to know, awesome advice on lukewarmers in media ministry. Hey, not a question, it was a comment, excuse me. Yeah. Don is a good one. He's been doing this for a while. He says he gets his stuff up to 2 weeks in. Check it out. Mode. Then about 3 days, I have final. Man, I wish I had it like that. All right, Carl. Well, I will hold you to that. Email me at questions@ajhomes.com, and I'm gonna be doing an install down there. I don't think it's gonna take me that long because they're jumping the gun, and they actually started running some cables already because I had all the equipment shipped down to them already. So I'm gonna be doing some cleanup and some training, but I'm gonna be there for quite a while. I'm gonna be finished, but then I'm not leaving till Tuesday. But I think like 3 of those days I'm gonna be wide open. So just let me know. Hello, one. Well, hello two. Little man 329. Hello, I'm having issues with trying to connect my PTZ camera to the network. I am using a Powerline Ethernet adapter. Should I use a Cat 8 100-foot cord to connect from PTZ to the internet box directly? Well, no, I wouldn't think that. I need to know what actual camera are you using, because it could just be the power line adapter should work because a lot of data is not going to go over the Ethernet. Did you set it up so that it's actually outside of its factory settings? Because most of the time, like the PTC Optics or the SMTs, the AV cans, the Famakus, they are locked to a preset IP address. Ty, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Normally, like the SMT AV that I just installed at Spring Creek, by default, the IP address was locked at 192.168.100.88. You need to set your computer to 192.168.100.50 or something else in that range. Then you can see it on the network and then change it to dynamic. Or you could just have it on the network and PTZ Optics software. Again, it depends on what camera that you're using. But most of the time, the PTZ Optics software can see it over the network, and you can log into it and change it if it's using similar chips. But check that out first. A Cat 8 cable is overkill for that. I mean, you can get away with a Cat 5e for that because it's not sending a lot of data for the PTZs. Those aren't needed. Tyrone wants to know, we are currently stream and use an analog soundboard. What can we do to get better sound in our streaming? Well, I need to get an example. The analog system isn't an issue. What do you mean by better sound? What is it sounding crappy? Is it sounding dirty, distorted? If you have a reference, you can post that and I can reference that, but I need a little bit more detail to help you with that. Don was saying, I meant final service to put into song show. Plus, I always have a large service for Christmas. Can't find Brown. Oh, okay. I got you. Ty wants to know, have you ever managed your church's live stream remotely through a remote control session of the streaming computer? Yes, I actually did that when I was in Ireland because they had an issue. So I was remoted in from Ireland through Google Remote Chrome Desktop, and I was managing the live stream from there. Travis wants to know, what specs do you recommend for a streaming laptop? I would not go anything less than a Ryzen 5 processor. Most of those laptops will actually have dual GPUs, so like a NVIDIA 1650. I wouldn't go any lower than that. And then 16 gigs of memory and no less than 512 gigabyte hard drive SSD. That's what I would recommend for you. Lester was saying there was a guy on Oculus 2 last night. They trying to come out with a program so they can have VR church. That's sick. I wouldn't mind playing around with that. That would be sick. You are welcome. Welcome to the group. Yeah, Daniel was saying, looking forward to getting together when you fly into Chicago. Yep. Gonna be exciting. Daniel saying, I'm not getting a PC Mac forever. Man, I know you're saying that. But when you get that PC and it's running that live stream super buttery smooth, you never know. Bill here. My church has an A10. We use a laptop display, PowerPoint, I'm assuming that is, into PowerPoint into the A10 to Zoom over video, and another laptop to display PowerPoint in the church. Can we use one computer to display in Zoom and project? Yeah, you can. What you would do is have it hooked up the same way you do Zoom. You just do a USB cable out of your ATEM into your computer for Zoom, and they'll see the video and audio, whatever you're suggesting, on through the ATEM. Now, if you want to only show the PowerPoint in the sanctuary and not video, in the ATEM software, let me cut over here so you can actually see it. In the ATEM software, you have an output. And the ATEM Mini Stream has two, but all the other ones have an output. You can set this. So like right now, my output number 2 is the multi-view that I'm looking at right now. And the other one is the main program out. That's, excuse me. That's what's going to my other system over here to my left. I could set this to anything and say I want to set it to PC, my right monitor. No matter what you switch, that's all that anybody would see. So the HDMI out on your ATEM can be connected to your projectors and your TV and say, this is where my PowerPoint, my Pro Presenter, my Easy Worship, my Worship Extreme, whatever my software is, this would mean, this is how I did it at Spring Creek. The TVs are locked to always output. The HDMI output is locked to that output. So in Zoom, they will see cameras, they'll see everything. But the only time Zoom will see the PowerPoint is when you pick the PowerPoint inside the ATEM software. But in the house, because the output from the ATEM is locked to the PowerPoint, it's never going to see the cameras. Hopefully y'all understand what I'm saying when I do that. All right. So like, for example, let me cut back over here, and I'm going to cut over to my other system, my vMix system that has a capture card, which is the HDMI out. So let me add that real quick. Intensity Pro. And there we go. All right, so let me switch back over to this camera here. So as you can see, this is giving me the exact same output that y'all are seeing. It's from the camera. But if I come over into, this is juggling now. If I come back over here and change my output to say, I only want this to actually see my main camera. All right, so now if I switch back over to the camera, see, it's locked. Even though y'all are seeing my camera number 8, my handheld camcorder, the HDMI out coming from the ATEM is locked to only this camera. So I could switch to this all day long, but the only time we're going to see the exact same thing is when I switch to camera number 1. So hopefully that makes sense. That's how you could do both. And that's if you have everything set up. And let me switch it back so that I got everything going the same way. Hopefully that makes sense. I've used it. I would say check out Spring Creek setup again. my earlier setup with them, and that's how I had that set up, and I've done that at a bunch of other churches as well, that they don't want to ever see anything there. Steve has a question. I'm thinking of just posting the sermon part from our live stream to make additional content. Is it better to create a second channel, YouTube channel, to monitor the success? I mean, it's up to you. I would think that making another channel, like for example, my channel here is specifically for media ministry. I have another channel that y'all don't know about because I haven't put nothing on it yet, and it's called the Tesla Smile. It's when I get a Tesla and I start making videos. That's what I'm going to do, because there's no point in me doing Tesla videos on the media ministry stuff because the content is completely different. Now, from a ministry standpoint, I think that shows diversity for your ministry to where you could. I mean, I do the same thing on my channel. We do on our church's channel. We do the entire live stream, but then I do segments of just the praise dancers or just the choir or just the sermon or different events or different announcements. I mean, it's up to you. And honestly, I mean, there's no harm if you want to do a second one. I just say that makes it kind of difficult. I'm juggling 8 YouTube channels right now, and it's a full-time job. So I would just say be mindful of adding your extra content and stuff like that. So Bill, awesome. I'm glad that helped you. So let me go back here and let me see if I can get another comment in on here. Where is my stuff? Where is my stuff? Display. All right, so let's go to our next one. I'm trying to eyeball this because of how I have it lined up. Okay, Underground News DK says the new Raspbian OS Bullseye does not include the OMX player, but on Bullseye you can use FF Play or CLVC player, the last with a web interface. Okay, that's more technical, but I understand what they're saying. This is the hybrid streaming bridge alternative for the Raspberry Pi, which is what another thing that we did over at Spring Creek. All right, and the next one, let's see. Can this fit in here? Joshua, have you done any live movement tests? Everything that and this is based on the studio camera 4K that's right here behind me. Everything that I've seen is locked down, framed, and focused. In live events, people walk around like during sermon. You have to pan, tilt, zoom, keep focus in real time. My understanding is there's never been a strong suit for the 4/3 lenses. Right now, I currently have not used this, but I am in the process of setting up a hybrid service where I'm going to be using this camera and moving it. So I can't answer this one right now, Joshua, but I plan to put a test to it. So hopefully that will help. Yeah, and as y'all can see, I get tons and tons and tons of comments. And I used to respond to all of them, but thankfully YouTube has grown and gotten much bigger. So it gets kind of much harder to follow up with everybody. Now, I must admit, since it's the last day of the month, I'm wondering for everybody, we had a 5X November challenge. I want to know who kept up with that and how did it do with y'all? Let me jump back over to some comments over here. Apple of the Eye. AJ, God has blessed you by opening many doors for you all over the U.S. states and places. What's the most memorable door blessing? Many blessings for you and your family. Please stay healthy in your travels. Thank you so much. I mean, I think it's been so many things to name. I think just like for when I went to Ireland just because I wanted to get away somewhere that I've never been before. But to go there and to say that there were people there that were like a few blocks away from me, their ministry that had watched stuff. Or I've gone places, like I remember taking my daughter to daycare and this guy did a double take. And I was like, I wasn't paying attention. And then he was like, hey, you're that YouTube guy. And I'm just like, man, I'm taking my daughter to daycare. And somebody stopping me. And see if these folks don't stop calling. Watch this. Hello. Yes. I am doing good. You're actually being featured on a live stream right now. Yeah, I didn't realize my phone was coming through. Can you give me a call back in about 20 minutes? All right, thank you. All right, bye. But I would say that honestly, it's about. I mean, I'm not trying to get emotional, but I'm really humbled. Some of y'all know my story, and to just in 2 years, where God has brought me from by me being faithful and listening, um, that is the wildest thing. I think I left my job in 20. Well, left and mutually decided to leave for my job at December 22nd of 2018. And I have not had a job income in 3 years. And God has provided like never before. So opening the doors for opportunities, like I've never advertised a day in my life. I mean, unless you call these YouTube videos that. D Showtime. Actually, it's Google Voice. I just have this here for my business number. And it's actually going through the network. I have an OB box here behind me that does that. So I can track my numbers and stuff like that for business. But I would say that's the biggest blessing. And honestly, being able to see the results of people who didn't know anything at all, and to where, like Spring Creek, they started with somebody selling them a camera and somebody set it up horribly. And then to see where they're at right now, to, for my home church and all this other stuff is humbling, and that's why it's like, I mean, I enjoy helping, some people say that I've ripped myself off because I'm like, I don't hide the fact that a lot of the installs I do, they've talked to other companies before me, and my price was 1/3 of what they're doing. Like some installs, somebody says, man, this one church, this one company was going to charge us $35,000 to do this install, and AJ, you were able to do it for $7,000. And sometimes the prices are so low that they think it's like, what type of scam is AJ doing? It's like, it's not a scam. It's in 2016, God woke me up and said, I want you to leave music and I want you to teach my people media. And he has shown himself to be true. So I think that's the biggest blessing, just to see just a little bit that I know has been able to help and impact and reach and truly share the ministry and message like never before. That has been the biggest blessing of all of this as well. Travis, thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Let's go back here. You mentioned for laptops to have a 512 gigabyte SSD with 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive. Yes, that would be good. That would be good. 16 gig. Don't do anybody. If you're getting any computer, desktop, laptop, whatever, don't get anything less than 16 gigs anymore. Just go 16 gigs. Don't do anything less than that. Please, just don't. NetStars, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, like I said, it's an OB-High. It's that box right there. If you can see, I actually did that at my mom's and moved her over to Google Voice, and she hasn't had a phone bill in years, but it just shows up like a regular phone, goes out on the internet using Google Voice. Daniel, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. Oh yeah, you weren't there. Yeah, I answered your question. I would say get OBS on a computer that has a secondary output, and then you can go into OBS and like I'll cut over to what y'all are seeing me see. So right in here, I would come in here and just right click, and then you can full screen out to whatever screen that you got. So the idea is you would run everything through OBS. You can do your scripture, your lyrics, everything like that with the plugins, or you hooking up another computer. We got tons of videos showing you how to do that. But then on the computer running OBS, you would just have a second monitor hooked up to it. Where's that adapter I had? And if you don't, there's a USB to HDMI adapter you can get from Amazon for $15 that will give you a second output. Right click in OBS, do full screen out to that output, and that output is plugged into the Boxcast. And there you go. That's how you can do both. So hopefully that answers. So Mike was saying he didn't get approval for the 5X program I wanted to do, but will keep the idea on the burner, everything in the season. Yeah, it is. You got to take it with time. Net stars, and I need to leave here in a little bit so I can get down to choir rehearsal and get ready for this phone call. What's your best solution covering an event with no internet via wireless modem? Honestly, I've used my cell phone. Long term, what I plan on doing is getting Starlink, and that would be for my business, so I don't have to depend on anybody else's internet. I've used hotspots. I've used my phone. I've used microwave dishes, unified dishes that I beam internet to where I've at. Those have worked fine, but ultimately I plan on getting Starlink and just setting that outside or in a clear sky to have internet no matter where I go, and I don't have to depend on anybody. That's what I would do personally. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really do. No, you don't have to. You could, but honestly, like I said, you use OBS. OBS is free. You just need to have an adapter. If your computer has two outputs, you can do everything that the ATEM can do. You can do that in OBS. I mean, it just takes you time to set it up, but you can. Ty was suggesting the same thing. I agree with the memory recommendation. I'm updating all my computers and maxing out my memory. Minimum memory for my computers is 62. Yeah, I just upgraded this system to 32, and my main video system now is at 64. I really want to push it higher, but I mean, I don't have a need for that right now. Let's go over here. Hey, we've been using StreamYard before the pandemic, but the quality of the live stream is a little dull. Do you recommend another software besides OBS? I mean, you can try vMix. vMix is good. It does have a cost. You could try out vMix Max, $50 for 1 month, and see if you like it. That's what I use right now. Right now, we're using the Bible plugin. However, it's limited in Bible versions. Do you have any suggestions? I mean, honestly, I would say buy it. It's only $5, and then you can get different versions, and then it works offline. What was it? First Fruits Productions. He actually contacted me. So, yeah, I mean, for $5, that's a steal to be able to get that. The only other thing you could do, if you need something more than that, you can go to like Worship Extreme, which is also free as long as you have an internet connection, and you can download whatever version that you want. That's what I would think. All right, folks, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get back to doing some more things like this. And like I said, we have a whole lot of stuff that we're working on. I mean, I never did a video on the DJI action camera. The last couple of videos where it was me walking around, it was this, doing that. I haven't had a chance to do nothing with this, but what I really want to do with this camera is so slick because it's magnetic. But this camera, I want to put this on somebody that's getting baptized and then record it, have them go down and come back. I think that would really get some very, very unique footage as well and a different perspective. Let me give you a tip, some heads up on what we're working on. I am working on a complete workflow of a very dynamic hybrid service, meaning that in-person service is one thing. The hybrid service is completely different. It's like a host. They're hosts that will engage your community directly and make an entire service catered for digital ministry. That's what Black Bar, the video I was talking about, he was talking about that people have set up their online ministry was an afterthought. It was just putting a camera in the back. And now, because this is something that's grown, a workflow to develop a service that's catered to your online community. So we're doing a whole lot of stuff. We started it off with a refresher on making a simple timer, and we're going to start building from that. So that's what we're going to look at. I got 2 churches in mind. I got Spring Creek. I'm waiting to hear on the other one that they're going to be my guinea pigs of us doing this hybrid service and see what the reaction is from the congregation as well as the online community. So be on the lookout for that, folks. Thank y'all so much for everybody who was joining. Let me know if y'all like this type of stuff. I mean, it turned into a Q&A. We're still going to do a Q&A Friday. Next Friday, we're going to do one again. But right after that Q&A, I am on a plane heading out for vacation. So there will be no, there's going to be another roundtable this Sunday because people asked for it. But pretty much for 2 weeks, nothing. So the 12th, no, the 11th and the 19th, nothing there. And then on not next Friday, but the following Friday, there's not going to be any live stream because I'm still going to be on vacation. So thank y'all so much, folks. Really appreciate y'all. And like I said, if nobody's ever told you that, thank you for the stuff that you do in the media ministry, I am. Thank you, because I know it is not. Sometimes the stuff we do is very thankless, and that's why I try to do the best I can to tell you thank you, show you appreciation, and give you the stuff that you need. And then don't forget, folks, we still got a 50,000 subscriber giveaway that we are, where are we at? I think we're almost, I haven't even looked at it. We are 26 people away from 45,000 subscribers. So 5,000 more. And PTC Optics is giving me a camera to give away. And I'm also going to give a second prize winner an ATEM Mini Extreme. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, share this with other ministries, because guess what, folks? If you win, if somebody else's wins, the entire body wins. Instead of us fighting against each other, why don't we work together? That's what it's all about. So pass it on, folks, and y'all have a great one. And we will see y'all in the next video. And I need to add an ending into this because I don't have it on here. So AJ, do the placement on the end of this video. We'll see y'all later, folks.